Hello and welcome to the Eagle 3 story, which is the restoration of a Bertram 35. It's a 1983 model, as you can see from the photos. She was in reasonably good condition when she was first received or handed to us from Michael, the owner, and it's hull number 808. As you can see from these photos, it had a rather large awning. That's the original order sheet from 1983. So she was in a reasonably okay condition. There was a lot that needed to be done. So you can see there's a bit of corrosion around the fittings and fixtures and things. So we start off by showing you how we found her before we get into the nitty-gritty of how we all put it together and restored it. So a lot of these fixtures and fittings were completely replaced. They didn't come with a hard top. We put a hard top on it. And you can see the floor, the carpet. That's why I'm not a big fan of carpet in boats. Absolutely, totally original interior. I think it might even be the original upholstery, which is pretty rare. A little microwave there, leaves a lot to be desired. So it was a pretty major project. The owner is very happy with the results, so luckily for us, which is a relief. You see the old Engel fridge there, that was done and dusted. That little depth sounder is still in there because Michael wanted to keep that just for a bit of authenticity from the old fit out. All these fittings you can see here, there's a corroded, well, they've obviously lost their shine. So we removed all of those and had them all done. We got rid of the taps. So the emblems, that's a lead alloy we found out from the chromers. The old nav lights, we replaced those with nice shiny stainless steel ones. So it was a big project and lots of modification, lots of trimming, but we tried to keep it as authentic as possible without changing too much of the boat's original appeal. And there's all the stuff ready to go off to the chromers. Now we're taking it down to Sandringham today. We have some weepy rudder glands, so the rudder glands are going to get packed. It's a bit of a priority job, and then pricing up on a project to restore this vessel, and that means repaint, all that sort of thing, because this boat will be ending up in a shed at some stage. It's a bit lumpy out today, you can see that, but another day in the office here in Port Phillip Bay. 20 knots on the nose, happy days. Anyway, so we're just going to motor down gently to Sandringham, where she's going to be pulled out of the water. Let me just get some revs on here so that I'm not just getting smashed about. There we go. That's the first sea trial for me on this vessel. I'm running solo today, which is always a bit fun. Yeah, so we're going to go down, and when it's out of the water, the boat builders are going to have a look at it and do assessment on what they're going to do in the hull. And I'm pretty sure the survey report says there was no osmosis in the hull, but we're going to make doubly sure. I'm going to get Mariner to the engineers to check all the running gear, the props, rudders, shafts, cutlass bearings, engine alignments, that sort of thing. This is what the run to Sandringham looks like today. It always looks flatter on video. It's just about a 20 odd sort of shot on the bay. Not nicer if you're in a displacement boat, but we haven't got that luxury today, so it's kind of another day in the office for me. There we go, there's a lump there. So yeah, we're doing 2300, 2500, 2400, sorry. Pulling at about 14 knots. The old series Volvos. Now these boats, they're pretty hard shine, so Port Phillip has this really short, sharp, shitty kind of chop you can see here. It's never really builds to a massive ground swell. It just has this shortness about it. So hard shine boats like this tend to seem a bit wet over the front. Here we are coming into Sandringham. That's the way into the non-slip side of the marina, and then over here, this is where we're going down into towards the slip. And I'll try and get some footage and photos and videos of the boat coming out, and you can see what that's all about.
Okay, out of the water at Sandringham. Just having a look at the growth here. Now this boat needs an anti-foul, but we're not doing that now. You see these anodes, the sacrificial anodes here. They're working quite well, though they should look pretty crap like that. If you get your boat out of the water, oh, they're actually working quite hard by the look of them. If you get your boat out of the water and these things look brand new perfect, that's an issue in itself. So you have anodes here. There's trim tab anode. This is trim tab. Obviously there's a little bit of growth here because it hasn't got fresh anti-foul on it. There's another trim tab anode. I'd like that to be working a bit more, so I'm going to check that that is bonding as well, because what happens is that sometimes they paint all this and they paint everything and then put the anode on and it doesn't make contact with the metal, so it's not doing what it should do. Then we've got the transducer here running up just above the waterline there. So the problem we had was the rudder posts were leaking, so that means that this gland here that's up inside there will need to be repacked and compressed again. Then we have our beautiful props. They're looking in pretty good nick. They will have a closer inspection of those. And then we have another anode here, the shaft anode. Then we have it going up through the stern tube up there, through the cutlass bearing and into the stern gland. So she's looking pretty good, pretty clean. I can see the anti-fouls in the past have been a bit average, a bit hit and miss. You can see the bubbling and the denting of the old anti-foul. They've just put a quick coat over the top of the old one. That's not been sanded back, it's just been laid on. So this boat's going through restoration, so the whole lot will come off back to hull and then be built back up again with the new anti-fouling coating. So there we go. So there's a seawater intake there, dripping water out. There's a generator intake as well. Yeah, you can see that anti-fouling is really not good. It's really substandard. It should be a lot smoother than that. And then there's a bow thruster. On the end of it you see that mushrooming, horribly looking thing. That's the raw water. The anode for that, to protect that against corrosion. I'd include the other anode. But you can see that anti-foul is horrible. I'm not a fan of that, but you know, the new owner, new home, she'll be well loved and well looked after, and the anti-foul won't just be blasted off and thrown over. This is yards just doing this. They just pressure wash it off and then just throw another coat on, and the owner comes and looks, and it looks all nice and neat and shiny, and then they chuck it back in and big chunks fall off like that. Anyway, we'll be doing it right from now on. Okay, go. So we are just come out of the slip there. You can see the travel lift getting put back. Just bring the aperture in a bit so you can see what's going on. So out of the slip here at Sandringham, we just had the rudders, glands repacked, rudder post repacked, and now taking her back to Royal Melbourne Yacht Squadron in St Kilda. It was also a chance for, tied that, a sort of bit of an emergency job, but the rudder glands were leaking a bit more than we'd hoped. So I tied that in with getting the boat builders to do an underwater assessment as well for this project. As I mentioned, this is the Bertram 35, which hopefully we'll be bringing back down here to have all this stuff around here all broken down and then taken trucks to a shed, which will be fully restored. So yeah, this is going to be hopefully a project that we can all sort of get involved with and you can all see what's going on. But so anyway, we'll head back up. It's a little bit calmer today than it was when we came down here yesterday. So that's pretty quick turnaround. The yard guys are here pretty good. Like I said, they said 10:30 lift yesterday. I was here 10:30. The slings were ready to go, and they said a 1 o'clock drop, and well, like it's now 1:45. So yeah, they're pretty efficient at Sandy, which we like. You don't want to be held up with movements and stuff, especially when you've got contractors lined up. Anyway, I'll head back to
Royal Melbourne Yacht Squadron. There's something to be said for these old Bertram 35s. This is an 84 model, and out of sheer love that the owner has for this, new owner has for this boat, he's going to restore it. But I tell you what, it's just, I mean, it's got some old Volvos in it, and it just burns along nicely. You know, we're doing about 16 knots, 2200 RPM, and you can just keep this up all day as long as you've got the fuel. Yeah, but look at that, no school like the old school, eh? Mechanical everything, hydraulic steering, mechanical controls, and yeah, straight shafts. It has got a bow thruster put in it, and you know, you probably don't really need one if you know, you get the hang of twin stick steering. But yeah. Okay, so here we are back at St Kilda, or Royal Melbourne Yacht Squadron in St Kilda. Just idling in, and look at that view. A little bit of fluffy white clouds and the city underneath it. Pretty impressive. I'm just about to pull into St Kilda, and as you can see, I've got the boat set up. Did you see our friend there? I haven't named him yet, so you'll have to come up with a name. Can anyone name the dinosaur for me? That'd be great.